Don't forget to fill up the form. Thank you.
Cheryl, are you done with whatever you...
No, we're just starting.
Okay.
Okay. Let me first start by welcoming all of you and saying thank you very much for being here on a Sunday evening. We Take Charge will be having this, Take Charge is having this webinar on the communication flex, which will be presented by Rozzlin Pereira. Before that, let me tell you a little bit about Take Charge. Take Charge is a mentoring program where we have, more than 450 young adults have benefited through 4 cohorts from 2014. The premise at Take Charge, we work on this premise that every young person is a genius in his or her own way. And is this coming in the way? Is in his or her own way and a unique way and has tremendous potential. The mentor acts as a catalyst and a role model, guiding the mentee to be the best he or she can be. What is Take Charge? Take Charge is a one-to-one mentoring model with an objective to empower Catholic youth of Mumbai to achieve possibilities way beyond their current aspirations. Founders, let us now listen to what our founder, Luis Miranda, has to say about mentoring and Take Charge.
Hi, I'm Luis Miranda. What we're trying to achieve at Take Charge is to get our youth to aspire to do more than they currently aspire to do. So what do? We basically pair them up with a mentor for a period of 18 to 21 months. And in that period, there are 4 things that we really work on. One is, how do you build up a relationship with an adult who you have no need to be connected to? You're not a family member, nor is she an employer, but that's one part of it, where you're building up a relationship of trust with an adult. 2, focusing on the importance of excellence in whatever you do, be it in sport or studies or anything else. Whatever you're trying to do, excel in it. The third is focusing on some of the softer skills like communication, confidence. These actually are life skills, and which you don't necessarily learn in the classroom. How can we help you with that? And the 4th is career guidance. So we put all this package together, and we hope to help our youth become more successful and more confident and more aware of what they can achieve in life. What we're doing over here is fun and exciting, and we'd love you to be part of this movement. So sign up, please.
So, like we just saw Luis tell us that what does a mentor do? How does he value add? A mentor is a trusted friend or guide. They help in your all-round personality development, in the academics, in your skill development, and help you choose your career. Not career counseling though, but just helping you to make the correct career choice. Who are the mentors? We have 100+ professionals from various fields like law, finance, performing arts, armed forces, hospitality, social enterprise, entrepreneurs, photographers. All of them are willing to take out time from their busy professional and personal lives to guide a deserving adult. Why are the mentors doing this? We believe that each one of us during our younger days have had guidance from people, guidance, direction, and help from people and they've also challenged us to be at our best. And we would like to pay it forward. How does the program work? The shortlisted mentee is paired with a successful mentor. While pairing, we use the geographic radius, meaning it would be somewhere close to either your home, your college, or your workplace. And we try to have it the same gender if possible. Also, we try to match interests and professions to the extent possible. How does the program work? Over a period of 18 months, the mentee is regularly in touch with the assigned mentor and is expected to connect for an hour at least once a month. You can meet in a coffee shop, over a call, Zoom, whatever. We have many workshops, different workshops like networking, how to write your resume, how to take care of your finances. We also had did a lot of work on mental wellness. We have fun times like, okay, the virtual Christmas party had to be virtual this year, but treks and lunches with buddy groups, that's groups of mentors and mentees. What next? How do you do this? You visit the website at takecharge.in for details and lots of testimonials from our mentees. You could speak to mentees from your parish. If you had a query, you can put the question on the website. Also, the eligibility is Catholic youth between the ages of 16 to 24 years from Mumbai. The last date of application is the 6th of February. How do you apply? You go onto our website and there is a join as a mentee. You click on that and you click on that and you will come to, would you like to enroll as a mentee? And then when you press to know more and register, you get the form and you can fill the form.
By train, it reaches 45 minutes.
The admission, let me stop and let us hear something that the mentees have said about the program. Okay. Ajit, who's sharing the video? Marianne? Ajit?
Ajit will be sharing the video.
Okay.
I'm an introvert and I'm not very good at taking initiative and answering first. And my mentor is as extroverted as they come. And so a lot of times when I've had meetings or interviews or times when I had to talk to people, and I was nervous, one way that my mentor always helped me is she would come in and we would have mock conversations. And I think that really helped me when I was in this situation because I was able to answer better. And so this is just one of the ways in which my mentor has helped me. There are various more, but yeah.
At the time, I was considering a career in filmmaking. And obviously, we know it's very tough to make it in filmmaking without contacts. So I thought I'll apply to Take Charge. I'll get to network. And my mentor helped me network a lot. But basically what my mentor helped me with is he also helped me with my career as well as giving me a new perspective about life, taught me how to be myself, taught me how to take risks, and he got me in touch with my creative side. So I really owe a lot to him for that.
My mentor has shaped me and made me into such a different person from when I started my journey. I now am more in touch with myself than I have ever felt before. I know exactly what I want, and I'm not. My personality has changed basically, and I think all of you really need to sign up for this program.
But when I joined Take Charge and through the process, the mentoring process and attending the webinars, I realized there is not much on the surface, but there is something much deeper that I need to realize and come to terms with. There are some aspects about myself that I haven't tapped into, some potential. And because of Take Charge, I have always been an extrovert. But, Take Charge allowed me to propel that energy into a place which will help me grow. And it gave me a lot of opportunities. And that's what I loved about Take Charge. It helps you to, drive your energy into that place and help you grow. And with the help of the mentor, who's like your guiding light throughout the whole process, and also the organization team and everybody on board.
So I think it's a win-win situation for any of the youth present here. In any place you are currently in your life, it is obviously going to help you in your personality, the way you behave, the way you talk, the way you communicate with anyone, with your friends, or it may be professionally. And academically, whatever you're doing, I guess if there might be sometimes you might need to take hard decisions. So your mentor will surely be there for you in any of your hard times.
Earlier that I've benefited a lot, and communication skills is the main key to succeed. Punctuality, being honest, being positive.
I feel this is the best opportunity you can get for networking. I mean, you get to network with people, you get to build your network, and I feel that's the most important thing at this age in your life, because those networks take you to places and it helps you to become a better person, because many a time we lose opportunities because we do not network with the right people. So I feel Take Charge is going to give you an amazing opportunity to meet amazing people. So I wish all of you will apply, and all the best for your journey.
I believe the workshops really helped, be it self-development, the resume building, which is really not that much available elsewhere. And when you have someone who's had been with that amount of knowledge and experience guide you through these workshops, I think having those workshops would really help you in your career ahead.
Thank you. Thank you, Ajit. So if you really need to, if you want to join, this is what you need to do. Let me go back to that slide just once more and help you. Okay. What next? Visit the website, the takecharge.in for details. Oh, I wasn't sharing. To share. Sorry. Okay, you need to visit the website, that's www.takecharge.in for details and lots of testimonials. Speak to mentees from your parish. They would be able to help you and share their story. If you have a query, you can write to us at this place. Eligibility is the Catholic youth between the ages of 16 to 24 from Mumbai. The last date of applications is the 6th of February. Okay, so before I hand it over to Rozzlin, Kellyanne.
Yeah, Cheryl, I'm here.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah, hello everyone. My name is Kellyanne. We're all gathered here virtually for this incredible webinar by Rozzlin Pereira, who I'm very lucky to call my mentor. Roz has accomplished so much in life and in such little time. There's probably no creative or performing or literary art that she hasn't tried a hand at and excelled in. She's played Sanya, this cute bubbly girl on a Disney show. She's been a VJ, a dancer, a thespian, a comedian, and you probably know her as Auntie Maggie. But at the heart of all of her experiences, she is an artist. But more so, she's kind, graceful, funny, gregarious, and you guys are in for a treat today. Over to you, Roz.
Unmute. Thank you so much, Kellyanne. And it's always a little extra special coming from you because we have that equation. And if you think these things, then it's fab. I don't know if I can call myself a veteran at any of these things. That introduction was a bit of a misrepresentation. I call myself Jill of all, which I'm very proud of because I feel like all of those experiences that are well-rounded and my exposure to all of these industries has made me who I am. So I don't say it with any kind of, I'm not saying it from a back foot, but thank you, Kellyanne. I'm so happy with that introduction. And with that, we shall start this webinar. I want to welcome you all. You know, when Cheryl called me and said, what will you talk about? And what do you want to do? Because the last time we did a webinar, it was on Authentically Awesome, something that I felt very strongly about, given all the stimulus that we're up against that kind of impacts us, changes us, molds us, makes us want to be a certain way, especially social media. I felt like today's youth are grappling with who they are and staying authentic to that, and then playing to those strengths and realizing that that will be a benefit in the long run. This time, one of the subheadings under being authentically awesome was communication, which I did not get to delve into the way I like to, and that is why I said communication. Why am I calling it the communication flex though? Flex, like many of the millennials and Gen Z know, has been used in social media very, very commonly to, well, it started off as showing off, but for those of you who don't know, and then now we use flex as own it. If you have a strength, own it. If you are good at something, leverage it. And there is this new wave and vibe that you should project yourself the best way you can. You have to put yourself out there. You have to promote yourself. It's where, you know, I came from a generation where if you did too much or said too much about yourself, it was almost not classy. But the millennials are redefining how promoting oneself is done, and they are unapologetic about it. Sometimes it's you know, a lot, and that's okay. But if that's how it's going to be, we need to ask ourselves what's happening. Essentially, we're communicating. We're communicating from the time we show up into a room, right? How we present ourselves. I'm saying something about myself when I walk in, even looking a certain way, walking a certain way. It's all part of communication. So today I am going to attempt to throw my spin on communication, because there's stuff that's been said before. There's you know, I would take more than 1.5 hours to tell you guys how to talk, or how to, I don't really know how to talk. I don't know what the best thing is to say. We have to understand that the receiver is the only one who can decipher. It's like beauty is in the eyes of the beholder. The person listening or receiving your content is the only one who can decide whether that was appropriately put across or not. So I'm going to try and delve into areas of communication that makes you, again, it draws back to who you are, what your thoughts are. So I'm going to try and do a little layering, hopefully, in the way I approach this. So why the communication flex? Because communication affects everything. If you think about it, it starts from our primary relationships with our parents, wanting to be heard and seen and get their attention, to daily chores, our siblings, buying groceries, friendships, partnerships, buying a ticket to go somewhere, you know, our main partnerships, our significant others, social media, work, and so on, right? I consider it a superpower, because if you nail this aspect of yourself, at least stay within, do the best you can within your mindset and what you are capable of, or your skill set, then that's half the battle won. And great communication then is like sealing the deal, because we're all fighting to be heard, to be seen, to make our presence felt. Take a moment and think about that. Whether it's with your parents, whether it's in a class of 50, or whether it's at a workspace, you're up against competition. So you need your communication skills to be in the room, so that when you speak, people want to listen, right? And I'll hopefully touch on this later, but I think everything comes down to stories that we build. You know, you can build a story on this cup of coffee. If you have good communication skills, you can make it really interesting, but that's for another time. And the fact of the matter is, if you look at anyone that's your mentor, or someone that's your you look up to, or some celebrity or some successful person, you will always find that they have managed to communicate effectively. Is everyone with me so far? That's why I said, let's talk about the communication flex, because it is at the epicenter of all we do. What is communication? Essentially, it's very simply put, it is the exchange of information. If this is done well, it can lead to great things, invention and creation of great things. So let's take the Taj Mahal, for example. Done in 1632, over a period of 20 years, during a time there was no FaceTime or WhatsApp or Zoom calls, okay? And here is an emperor, Shah Jahan, with a vision, a lovely romantic vision. What's happened to men these days? Had a vision, okay, to immortalize his wife and create something that would stand the test of time, and that would be so spectacular that the world has never seen, and is still considered one of the 7 wonders of the world, right? So this vision now has to be executed. So what do you think that brief was like Was there clarity? Was there emphasis? Was there passion? Was there drive? Was he able to convince the other person with words, with the fire in his eyes, with his determination to see this through, and of course the fact that he was willing to spend millions of rupees to make this happen? This piece of art exists in front of our eyes today, right? That's a great example of communication. Now, I can't tell you what actually went down because I wasn't there, but it's a presumption that it was it was a classic case of a good brief. Now, what happens when, like I said, communication comes down to how much what is this transfer of information? What I know that I now tell you. If this is inadequate in some way, if this is faulty, if there is some kind of breakdown in the system, how bad could it possibly be, we can ask ourselves. Sometimes it's no biggie. Yeah, the other person didn't get your point across, who cares? And sometimes it could lead to a fatal misunderstanding. And I say fatal because it could actually lead to death. So that's how important communication is. If there's an air traffic controller who does not get the right details of the aircrafts in the air at a given point of time to the pilot, I'm not talking about radio frequency getting in the way, I'm talking about just pure communication. And if these systems are not put in place in a 100% efficiency that is needed for it, the planes can collide midair, right? They can crash. So we're talking about death. So if I've emphasized enough the magnitude and the absolute importance that communication will play in your life, your relationships will depend on it. I know firsthand how much I've struggled in this area, both from a point of communicating my point across and also getting through, and also being frustrated with people who are not able to communicate with me at the level at which I'm used to. So all of these things become challenges, right? I wanted to just give a little bit of a disclaimer before I moved on, is that I have not reached any position of excellence in this area. I am still struggling in my personal life. I meet different people, and just when I think I figured it out and I am so clear and I've got these systems down and I will let people know and I will send them paragraphs of information so that they are never unclear about where I stand, I still find that I am falling short. And sometimes too much is also not a good thing. Okay, with that said, let's move on to the kinds of communication. Can we open it up to you guys telling me what you think are the different kinds of communication? Anyone who has the answer, quickly though, don't waste too much time. It's very basic, it's in your face.
Interaction with people.
Norma says what?
Interaction with people.
So like, that would be how interaction is anything, right? I mean,
like when you meet a friend, you get a topic and you communicate with that. I mean, you communicate with
talking about it. You're saying spoken word is one of the ways. Yes. Spoken word. Okay, next, somebody else. Spoken word.
Expression also.
What was that? What was that, Norma? Who said?
Expression.
Expressions. You're talking about, our facial expressions, right? Absolutely. Anybody else? How else can we communicate?
By chat, we have verbal and non-verbal by Jessica DeMello.
Yeah. And body language by Christine.
Yes, and Ajit says spoken and unspoken.
Yes, absolutely. So you guys are totally on the right track. I'm going to speed through this since you already know. Spoken word. Again, this is going to be like another 3-hour session, so I'm not going to get into it, but something as simple as how do I look? If the answer is you look fine, can anyone tell me? Just analyze you look fine to me. Let's assume it's a girl asking a guy, which has happened a million times. I have done this. How do I look? And the guy goes, you look fine. Girls tell me, are you happy with this answer? Some maybe, some maybe not, but I just want to hear from you.
We need a specific, we need a specific expression, like how do we look? It's not about fine. We need to know if you look pretty or beautiful or what.
You want to hear the word beautiful is what you're saying, Norma. You want to hear the word pretty.
I mean, any girl would, like, as
It's fine to say, I want to hear it. It's fine to say that. Don't worry. Let's not generalize. There are some, Gen Z who are like, I don't need validation and all that, which is fine. Very progressive thinking. Yeah, you look fine. Any of the guys in the house have a response to this? You look fine.
We have Ajit saying,
Never happy.
Never happy.
What, the girls are never happy with the answer, is it?
Yes.
Fair enough. That's his perspective. He said, you look fine. That's it. That's all you need to know. Let's go. Chop, chop. What's going on? Right? So this is where communication gaps. So I think, don't you think even spoken word, it goes further than just the words being said. The girl is feeling like the answer is inadequate, even though the words are adequate. So there is one human being who believes the words are adequate. I said the words, you look fine. If you didn't, I would have said, you look terrible. Please change. What is that you're wearing? The fact that I didn't say these words is chop, chop, let's go. The girl is saying, how do I look? Because she wants to hear something that she's prompting you and giving you the opportunity to say. So it goes further than spoken word. So if here understanding your partner is important, which is why I'm going after the nuances, right? It's not about, I can't put words in a guy's mouth, but I can ask him and I can implore him to understand what's being asked of you in this moment. And would it kill you to make the moment a pleasant one? Leaving you with that thought. I love you, do you love me is another example. And if the answer came back, if I didn't, would I be here? I can think of better responses to that. I've been actually subject to this answer, which is why it's even in my presentation. I've been so offended. And I was like, what do you mean this is? And the answer was like, if I didn't, would I be here? Obviously, I love you, but there is no obvious in my world. I am a theater person. I am a drama queen. I need to see fireworks. So again, understanding, I'm just throwing a little bit of humor, but you get where I'm coming from. Spoken word. If you ask your partner, should we go with the blue one? Should we go with the blue artwork, the blue decor, the green decor? And they go with no, go with the green one. Or if there's a simple life misunderstanding, like I find a lot of my friends often say, I'll be there in a bit. I'll call you in a bit. What is in a bit? Especially as you get older, your tolerance for ambiguity becomes very low. And even though this is a very silly and lame example, I am one of those people who doesn't say in a bit. I will say 20 minutes and I will either call you in 20 minutes or completely forget and then apologize profusely later. But the point is that I will be specific. The reason for this is because I believe, and again, this goes a little bit to things that are padding for communication. It's not just about saying the words, but it's about backing it up with something a little bit more substantial, which then adds credibility and integrity to your personality. So I say, I will call you in 20 minutes, or it's going to take me, listen, I'm still in the shower, I'm not going to be there. So that the person has the chance to now grab a cup of coffee if they were deciding to make a call to their other friend and were not going to do it because you were reaching in 2 minutes or in a bit. They now don't do it, but you reach 20 minutes later and they could have done 6 things in that period of time. All they need is the respect of a little bit of clarity and precision in what you're saying. Of course, these things you've heard before when it comes to the spoken word, which will really help you if you do actually try to practice it as much as possible. It will not be 100% hit rate because it's a very go-to human instinct to say, you always, I never, you never, I always. Okay, this is a big fat trigger with most people. What do you mean by I always? I can think of 3 times where I didn't. So these are not, this is not a fact. It's not always and it's not never. And even if it is, you have better chances of invoking change in your recipient's behavior if you start with, hey, can I say something? Please don't take this the wrong way. It's just something I'm feeling and I could be completely wrong, but I tend to get the feeling, and it's only how I feel, that you sometimes do this and it would be great if you didn't, over and out or whatever, something to that effect, you know, which is less accusatory and puts the person less in a position of defensiveness. They hate words like defensive, rigid, aggressive, obsessive, or any other adjective that you can come up with that would make people feel judged. Refrain from this and try and find a way there which is less judgy and more solution driven, if that makes any sense. Okay, let's go to tone. I'm going to give you, do we understand the importance of, it's not just what you say, but how you say it. I am still, again, struggling with this because when my emotions take the better of me, God help everybody around me, and I'm working on it and it's getting better day by day. But tone is, it's very important. So I'm going to give you a line. Somebody volunteer to take this line, say this line with a kind of tone. Okay. So it's no, darling, that's not the wire that goes into the USB port. Can anyone say this line the way, no, darling, that's not the wire that goes into the USB port?
We have Andre who has raised his hand.
Andre, let's hear it.
No, darling, it's not the way to what wire?
Okay, no, darling, that's not the wire that goes into the USB port. Say it, Andre, that's not the wire that goes into the USB port.
That's not the wire that goes in the USB port.
Okay. Oh, I love Andre. Anybody else? Anybody else can do this differently. Same line, different tone.
Could I try?
Yes, please.
No, darling, that's not the way you go through the VIC port.
Okay. Who was that? Who just did that one? Chris.
Yes, ma'am.
Chris. Okay, Chris and Andre, very kind, soft-spoken boys. Anybody else with a different tone?
Can I try too?
Please.
So I would probably I'm assuming it would be like, no, darling, that's not the line that goes into the USB port.
Okay. So yes, while Andre and Chris were very kind about the whole thing, this same sentence could be like, no, darling, that's not the wire that goes into the USB port. What sense of tone did you get from me and from Leandra? What is the word you would put on my tone?
Sarcastic.
Okay, and how does sarcastic make you feel? If you were the recipient of, no, darling, that's not the wire that goes into the USB port, how would you feel if somebody said it to you like that? It's a simple line. There's no, hey, you fool, you dumbo, you moron, nothing. It's just the tone. How does it make you feel? You feel stupid and undermined. Exactly. You have successfully managed to make the other person feel small and yourself feel big, but only for a moment, because actually you're the small one. So, I mean, these things come up in interpersonal relationships. They will come up with your girlfriends when they are talking about technology or cars. I'm not making a general statement here. I know there are many girls who know about cars. I'm just saying I'm not one of them. But when this happens and when you feel the need to, it's so simple, and then you get that tone, and, you know, in many slang, in the slang world, you know, mansplaining, we get very angry when someone mansplains us. The same thing can be explained. You'll be like, no, okay, so that's not the one that goes into the USB port. Very matter-of-factly explain what needs to happen without actually making the person feel small. What? You watch Friends again? You watch Friends again? Or what? You watch Friends again? So shit, I wish I was with you, versus, oh my God, you're such a loser. So tone is very, very important, even when you write or your expressions or any other way. Assertive versus aggressive. This is something you're going to have to learn the art of. Again, something I'm struggling with, but assertive is necessary for you to be able to lay down, not lay down, actually stand up against any kind of oppression that might come your way. And there will be people who will cross the line. You will need to show up for yourself and draw that line for them very clearly. And the challenge here is to walk that fine line of not crossing the line where you now become the aggressor. This is something that I used to find challenging. I'm over here minding my business, being in my la la land, haven't offended anybody, happy expression on my face. Someone comes, steps on my toes, says something obnoxious, and now what happens? I become the aggressor because I can, because I so-called have these communication skills. So I turn around and whap, bap, 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 snap back. The person is finished in 5 seconds. That's not what you want to do either. You know, good communication skills doesn't mean you verbal bully, which I will give you a little bit of an example about that actually, let me just do it right now. You see, the thing is like someone like me, for example, there's a flip side. Learn how to communicate. There will be some of you who are struggling with actually standing up to a friend or a boss or someone who is crossing the line with you or being obnoxious with you. So your journey is to learn how to get to that point where you say what you need to say in the moment, feel satisfied, walk away. You will learn how to say it, not cross a line, not be offensive, walk away. My journey was the opposite. I would either cross the line, reach up. It was never punishment fits the crime, because I have reached the other extent of finishing the person. They must have said 2 lines to me and I said 20. And I knew exactly how to hit that button, which would, I'm talking about my earlier years when I was in my 20s, very defensive, very wanting to put people back in their places. Whatever my reasons were, this is what I was doing. I had to unlearn it. Another thing I found myself doing is, because I'm so good with the articulation of my thought, I know how I think, I know how I feel. I have watched so many videos. I've watched Priyanka Chopra talking. I've watched Will Smith talking. Now I know all their verbatim, their lingo. I can have an argument and be so convincing that the other person who may not have my communication skills doesn't get a chance to get their point across. I mean, in recent times, I have started to think that this is not a cool quality either. Just because you have the gift of the gab, just because you can talk and articulate your thoughts, does it mean that your story or your version of the story is the correct one? You happen to be the one saying more words. You happen to be the one that managed to shut the other person up. So you walk away patting yourself on the back going, nobody can argue with me. I'm, debate queen. I shut them down, clap back, this and that. But the fact of the matter is, have you really won? Or have you shut your mouth long enough to hear what the other person's perspective or take is? And often I found that a day later, I'd be like, oh, they had a point. And oh my God, I was being a bit of a, I just got carried away with the sound of my own voice and the things that I'm saying. I don't know if any of you resonate with this, and that sometimes you do this and then later on you're like, okay, I could have given this person a chance. Writing. How often has it gone wrong when we are texting and it's been misunderstood? Any example? Anyone has an example of this going wrong? Where you text someone and sometimes it could be as simple as you write yup. I've written yup thrice to a friend when, should we go for a walk? Yup. Something, yup. And then they've written, are you okay? Because the thing about writing is you can't tell what the person's tone is, what they're feeling. And she's maybe not used to me being a person of one, being, monosyllabic. So there must be something off with Rosh. Are you pissed off with me? And all of this was asked of me. So when you write as well, I like to write background. I like to say that when I'm not coming to a party, I will write 3 sentences. I won't say, I can't make it, sorry. I can't make it, sorry could make the person feel like you really don't care about being there and you had no intention of being there. I like to say, hey, show today we have emoticons, so I'll show you the crying eyes, I'll show you the feeling bad face. I'll say, I'm gutted that I couldn't be there. I really wanted to be there and this thing happened. At least the person's heart has been kind of pacified in knowing that this person had full intention of being there. So the way you communicate, even when you write, is very important to getting the point across. A lot of misunderstandings happen with especially with text, because there's no tone and there's no context. You can't see my face. You can't see my smile when I'm writing. I've almost had a friendship completely shut down because I happened to text a joke at the wrong time. And it just went south and I never got a chance to explain myself. And I was in a completely different frame of mind. So these are things, this is the kind of communication nuances that are attached to not just what you say, but also the things you want to keep in mind when you communicate. Again, I'm going to skim through the next bit. Listening is part of communication. Can anyone tell me what couple of the things that you think it means to really listen? Anybody? How can you really listen? People keep saying this, right? You heard me, but you didn't listen. What does that mean?
People are not looking for an advice, actually. They want you to just listen plainly without giving you without any disturbance. I feel that is listening.
Okay.
That's Joanna.
Okay.
Anybody else? What is it?
I
Really listen?
I feel that when people use the dialogue that you heard me and you didn't actually listen to me, it's we hear the tone of the voice, we hear the sound, but we don't actually think and go back on the words said. So that's what listening is, when you actually take into account the person, what they're saying, and not just, shutting them out and just hearing them in an argumentative tone, or, sometimes that tends to happen where we don't listen to the frustration or we don't understand.
Yes, absolutely. Yes, I think well said also. It's literally, it's not about catching. Sometimes people catch the bull by the horns. They look for that one word to interject and then say, you said that, and find a way out, find loopholes out of that conversation. Or if you are the one under attack, you find loopholes out of the conversation. Or like someone before this, I forgot who it was, who rightly said, sometimes we are so desperate to interject with our own opinion that we are not listening to what that person has said. We're just waiting for them to stop talking. So we're going, but actually we're thinking about our next point. As soon as they give me the chance, I am ready with my point. That's not listening. That's called gaps in your own thought and your own point. So I would say it starts with giving the other person a chance to talk, but it goes further when you say, I'm not just giving you a chance to talk. I am not waiting to interject with my next thought. I'm actually listening with the intention to absorb your point of view, to really understand. Then I'm listening not just to the words you're saying, because everyone cannot articulate their feelings as well. I've again learned this the hard way. Sometimes you have to look further for cues on their discomfort. What is the person saying? What is the person not saying? Actually being interested helps as much as being you actually have to be interested to pick up on these nuances. Otherwise you would never. In a larger scheme of things, from a social point of view, sexual inappropriateness has happened so many times at the workplace and colleges and in various situations, because maybe sometimes, according to the guy, she didn't say no, she didn't say I want to go home. He's expecting, stop it, I want to go home right now. Every girl is not in a position to say that. Sometimes your very position within the workplace doesn't give her the courage to react. And how many times have we been in a situation where we are shell-shocked? So you want to come for a drink? Is no. Maybe it's yes. And you feel like trying again, and you go, come on, we'll have a good drink. Come up to my room. I'll take you for a drink. Actually, my mother said I should go. That's no. So it goes further than, you can't hide behind she didn't say the words. Sometimes she won't even say a word. She may just go and look down. Is that not enough that's being said for you? And don't tell me you didn't get the vibe that she wasn't jumping up and down, right? So these are things that you wanna be paying attention to. That's a very large example I gave you. But at the same time, there are smaller examples. Sometimes someone's just discomfort about wanting to try a certain starter that you're offering him. Have. No. They don't want to offend you, but they don't want to eat that. So you need to read further than what they're saying, right? Then there's expressions, like someone pointed out, a simple eyebrow raise, has thrown my friends into a tizzy sometimes, because I'll just be like, I'll make that face, and then they're just so pissed off because they've already understood that I've dissed them. Eye rolling, all the parents who had to deal with your millennial kids rolling their eyes. It is a form of communication. You have disrespected your parent in that moment. Yes, it's okay. It's part of pop culture now, and you think it's very cute, but you have to use your discretion on when to use that eye roll. Read your parents' mood and then decide when you want to take that risk. There's body language and vibe. How often have you all heard, oh, I read energies? Lots of my friends used to say this, I read energies and I got a very bad vibe from her. What does that mean? Sometimes there is truth to this, but you have to ask yourself, is this person intimidating, or are they just uncomfortable themselves? Is this person being standoffish and quiet, or are they preoccupied with some thought or some worry of their own life? So you're not professional in understanding these vibes, but since it's such a real thing, a vibe that you're giving out. For example, somebody just sitting like, this is the vibe of somebody who doesn't want to be there. Now, let's say you're really enjoying the session with the friends or whatever, but this is your vibe. And people are like, what's wrong with you, man? Like, how come you're, giving off this vibe that you don't want to be here? They are all starting to feel uncomfortable with your vibe. If you are enjoying yourself, it would be nice if you make it known, right? I mean, let your body language and your vibe match how you actually feel. And if you don't want to be there, my advice is you shouldn't be there. Because it's an energy that then permeates through the room. You'll notice how your mood starts to get off because one person. Today, we are very mindful of that. We're 4 of us, we're having a good time, and then we think, should we call those the next 2? And then we imagine what it'll be like when they come. We're in a chill mood and we're not in the mood for hectic energy. And then we'll be like, no, let's not call them, because not because we don't like those people, because we are in a vibe and we don't want the vibe to change. So vibes are important. So you want to be mindful of what kind of vibe you're putting out. Eye contact, very important. Look in the eyes of the person that you're talking to. You can even have what they call resting bitch face. All you guys will know what I'm talking about. This has a very dry, I'm disengaged, I'm tolerating, I am being patient with you. It's very, very offensive. Not a word has been spoken, and I am feeling horrible in the company of this person whose eyes make me feel small. So you're understanding how important all these aspects of communication are, right? Then there's digital, social media. If you understand the digital space, and today we have reels, we have music videos, we have movies, the importance of a soundtrack. Sometimes there's absolutely no audio, and they put the right music on there and you are in tears because they've managed to convey the mood of that scene without saying a word, just because of music. Similarly with social media, you can have one tweet that will take you down. Today you write something which is, if you've not kept in mind your place in society, if you haven't kept, like a man writing something about, it's no big deal, to that time, oh, it must be that time of the month for her, or something like that, you will get finished on social media for writing that, because the women are like, you do not walk in our shoes, you do not get to make that joke. And nobody knows where you're coming from. You might have been having a lighthearted moment with a friend and tweeted, but your communication is who you are. Yes. Is someone putting their hand up? Am I?
Yeah, it's me, Rozzlin. I just wanted to tell you, sorry to interrupt, but this point of yours that one tweet can take you down, I really agree to that, because even amongst my friend group, or if I'm on WhatsApp chatting with my friend, and I say that, oh, now BTS and a lot of things are the hype, and you're like, okay, you're not disrespecting the group and the talent, but you're like, I don't like it as much as I would usually. Everyone comes to attack you,
yes.
And then you're finished. So you don't get a chance to even say the next line that this is not the case.
Social media has become a war zone. So again, I would advise a lot of discretion on having any kind of conversation. Today, if you understand the climate of the world, it is camps and communities. I belong to the vegan community. I hate all non-vegans. I believe in, can we agree to disagree? Can we live and let live? Can we have a conversation, realize that we're not on the same political stand, we're not on the same musical sensibility, but I love being around you because you've introduced me to something new. Can that not be the open-mindedness? Again, which I will be coming to later, open-mindedness is a very big part of communication. Now you'll ask me how? What has your open mind got to do with your communication? If you don't think certain thoughts, they will never exit your mouth. If you don't open your mind to certain thoughts, they will never enter your being in order for you to be the kind of person that actually communicates a certain way. Are you understanding what I'm saying? I know I wrapped that out, but like she said, you have to know about timing and things like that, which I will get to. Again, I need to speed through this. Gestures is important. Some people's love language is gifts and flowers. Even in friendship, sometimes it's important to understand your friends, if they are important to you, if gestures is the thing that they like. Sometimes a little pat on the head, or sometimes a little, certain communities like things to be done a certain way. Then understand that, and going forward, if you move to China, then you should figure out how the Chinese like to be inducted into your life, and you will find that maybe giving them that particular gift, or bowing in that certain way, or saying that particular phrase every morning, and suddenly they start seeing you as one of their own. and they're a very clannish community. But your success now dependent on your communication through gestures. Are you again understanding how important the different languages within communication will affect your life? Okay, touch and touch related action, a simple pat on the head. Sometimes when someone's grieving, words fall short. They've heard it all before. I'm really sorry for your loss. No, you can't possibly be as sorry as I am in this moment. I wish I could be there for you. No, you really can't be there for me. I'm devastated to a level I can never even explain to you in this moment. A hug, a heartfelt, tight, warm hug, and that contact of body creates a bond or communicates something sometimes far deeper than what even words can do. I'm going to quickly give you a couple of, and then we'll go into this interactive bit where you get to try your hand at some slight confrontational situations within the personal front, the social front, and the work front. You're going to try. But just before I get there, I just want to skim through some tips. Again, all my tips are not how you speak and how you, because this is not something you can learn. You can watch a million videos. I can't write a script for you and be there for you every time you're faced with a tough situation with a friend or your boss is pissing you off. I can't be there, right? So I can give you some insights and tips, and maybe you can fly off with that. Timing is something you want to keep in mind. I learned this the hard way. Okay, I married a man who was like, don't talk to me in the morning, don't talk to me in the evening. This is the distinct time, that is the time. And I was like, what is going on? Because I was okay with being spoken to at any point of time. But it's not just about people's timing. He obviously took it to another level. What I mean is, when someone's just woken up, are they receptive to, do you know we have to do this today? They've just woken up. Let them have their cup of coffee. So here I'm not telling you about how to communicate. I'm telling you about when to communicate. It's a subheading. It's a sister concern to communication. Someone's just broken up with their partner. Are you going to be telling this person, I found a damn cute guy for you. Thank God you dumped that guy. They're still sensitive over the guy. They're still not over the guy. So you might want to take a little time and a little sensitivity before you say, hey, I've got somebody new for you. The intent is to make your friend happy and make them get over the nasty ex, but there's a time is what I'm saying. Am I going too fast? Because I tend to speed train. Is everyone with me? Am I clear? Is my communication clear, everyone? Yes?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay, thank you. Receiver mentality is another thing I would tell you to please keep in mind. Receiver mentality would mean, I'll give you an example. Okay, like Helian said, I was shooting for the show Sanya. I don't speak Hindi, so I was busy trying to learn the Hindi dialogues and struggling and all this. And I'm on the set, and I'm on the set with people maybe who wouldn't have been I come from Bandra. Here I'm all the way in, God knows where, Timbuktu, shooting something. And, all the typical Lokhandwala people were there. All the typical Lokhandwala actors were there, all of whom speak Hindi very well, listen to Himesh Reshamya and all of that. And now when I say this, I'm not saying it with any tone of condescension. These people have become very good friends of mine till date, by the way, because I'm happy to have people to affect and impact my life. They were really good, helpful people on the set, by the way. They started helping me with my Hindi and all of that. Had I had an attitude about it, they would have asked me and I would have got axed from the show also. But anyway, here I was on the show and there was a thing called Spot Dada. Okay, we have to say Spot Dada when we want tea or we want water or something. Spot Dada, and the Spot Dada would come. I came from Bandra and I was finding it very, I don't want to say Spot Dada. It's so disrespectful, and my own ideas about Spot Dada being disrespectful. So I decided I want to come up with Chai Guy, which I don't think is any less disrespectful. But at the time I thought Chai Guy was very cool, and it was, I don't know what, or I should have just learned the guy's name, right? That would have been better. The thing is that they would keep changing every 6 hours. So I go, आज से मैं आपको चाय गाय के नाम से बुलाएंगे, ठीक है ना? हाँ मैडम, हाँ चाय गाय. Then I'll be like chai guy, and nobody would come. And then when the girl next to me would be like, Spot Dada, not even screaming, Spot Dada, zip, he would be there. And I'd be like, chai, please. It's also about the receiver. For him, that is his job. That is his identity. Who is this psychotic woman who's come in here and trying to reinvent my title and call me something I've never even understood the name of? My intent may have been something else. The execution of it was a big flop. But the fact of the matter is the receiver needs to understand where you're at. Sometimes we're even treating our domestic help with a certain kind of, oh, I must have the same vibe as the way I would have with my own family. And they are not receiving it. They take it to be a sense of some lines have been crossed. So you have to also understand who the receiver is. Me trying to tell my mother-in-law or my grandmother or some auntie who's 30, 40 years older than me about some new age concept or, relationships and, and some new open relationships today. Why would I try to explain to this person what they have never been exposed to? So receiver mentality, and this could be even within a friend circle. If you know someone is not of the same thought process as you, it's not your job to convince them of your thought process. That good communication also is using your discretion as to who you need to get into that conversation with and show them the respect enough to say it's okay that you think that way. The next point is again very important to me: knowing yourself, respecting yourself. This is where no amount of videos that you watch on communication, no amount of webinars by Rozzlin Pereira will be able to help you communicate if you do not have your own sense of self. In the moment of discomfort, displeasure, or confrontation, if you do not know what your stand is, how will you possibly communicate that stand to somebody else? At 20, when I was vulnerable, I was maybe not okay with certain kinds of jokes from my male counterpart friends of the same age. I was not able to handle it because I knew that this is who I am. Whether I was a prude, food, should, whatever you want to call me, I knew that at this point of time, my palate was not ready for those jokes. Right or wrong is secondary. I know who I am in this moment. So when the joke came, I said, hey, if you don't mind, I'm not okay with that joke. I find it slightly, come on, man, it's just a joke. No, but okay, I'll walk away, but I need to not be around that. So many of you guys will be thinking, thank God you're not friends with her because she's whatever. The point of the matter is that at that point, I knew who I was. Today, maybe at this point in my life, I'll take it in my stride because I'm a little bit more comfortable with myself. I've also seen past these things. I can let it go, whatever. I needed at that point, the 20-year-olds to understand you don't cross a certain line with me. I was also saying something larger than the jokes. Not only am I not okay with these jokes, understand who I am so you never ever try anything worse with me because I will speak up. This is a very silly example. My point is, even you could be in a situation. I've been in an uncomfortable situation at work at 21. Boss is holding a plate of food over my head. He's drunk. And if you don't get up and dance, Now, I could have been scared. Today, I would have handled it very differently, very calmly, because I'm so sure of myself. I'm a woman now. I'm comfortable. I would have done it without humiliating him. I would have probably got up, walked him to a corner and said, sir, listen, you're drunk. Please don't do this because no. Or I would have taken somebody with me. I would have done it in a way where I don't even make him feel bad. Today, I'm at that point where I can operate like that. But at 21, I was like, throw that place of food and see exactly what happens in 5 seconds. That was who I was, though. I can't be apologetic now. I'm just glad that I was the 21-year-old that said something. And it's okay to be the 21-year-old that doesn't have the guts to say something. But my point at this point in time is to figure out these avenues as to who I am, what I'm okay with, and am I able to speak up? And if I speak up, can I do it in a dignified manner? These are things to start thinking about right now, okay? Because no one's going to be writing the script of your life. Stay informed and stay researched. Knowing the palette of the environment is very important because then you will say things accordingly and you will not tweet nonsense or say something inappropriate or offensive, which has already been considered absolutely no-go, right? I think genuinity of the way you talk is way more important than the words you say. So in most communication workshops, a lot of vocab will be thrown your way. And yes, the emphasis on how you construct a sentence, all of that is very important. But in my world, genuinity is where it's really at. The real stories, the real connect comes from, have you felt someone? So if someone doesn't have the power of the command over language, but they're managing to make you feel something, then they have managed to communicate in a much better way than someone who possibly said all the right words. let's assume there's, a wedding and there's 2 groomsmen, and one groomsman has come from Harvard, and he comes in and he waxes eloquent about this and that and cracks the right jokes, thanks the right aunties, gives you a couple of anecdotes, pats the groom on his back and finishes with a punchline, and it is the perfect speech. And then you have the neighbor who's been this friend since he was 2, not left the locality, comes up, says, man, you made me feel damn safe at school. Everyone was bashing me up, and you made me feel safe. And till date, man, you're a jackass, bada. You're a bloody jackass. But you make me feel safe, man. I love you, man. And he cries. Which one has your heart? Anybody? I mean, I know which one got me. So genuinity, I'm not saying you have to cry. I'm not saying that you have to, I'm just saying feel. Or if you're not feeling, don't say. Say when you feel. You don't have to be passionate about 1,000 things. You only have to be passionate about 2 and then communicate that well. And like Leandra pointed out, we're living in a polarization war. This is the time for everyone to pick a side. It's never as simple as I enjoy football. No, but which team? I love music. Which what kind of music? No, you have to know what kind of music, and then there's gatekeeping on that. So the point of the matter is that it's okay to be open-ended about everything, and it's okay to have an opinion, like certain things, and not be the enemy of someone who doesn't like your things. That's where I'm going with that. Again, small tips in when you communicate, always say a person's name, remember the name, say their name. I'm terrible with this till date, but I'm working on it. My air hostess friend had given me this tip. She had said, she would always say, when we go to Candies or wherever, she would always be like, first look at the name, and then she'd be like, Sanjay, and Sanjay, limbu pani yaar, acha hai na, ye wo. The way she would talk to him like he was her friend. And I would always find this odd because I came from a place where I'm like, if you're extra friendly with the waiter, won't he think anything daft? She's like, listen, everyone wants to be seen and heard. And she's like, when I'm on the aircraft, I'm so lonely. I'm doing 20,000 flights. I never know which part of the world I am. But when somebody says Sukrina to me, I told you her name. When somebody says her name like that, she's like, I want to give them the muffins, the free stuff on the aircraft. I want to give them everything because I feel like that's my family suddenly. Because I'm not with my family most of the time. I'm flying, I'm lonely. So that was such a beautiful insight towards the power of using somebody's name. Always listen enough that you can maybe refer to something somebody said. When you said that, that really made an impact on me. Or when you said that, I didn't quite agree. The minute you repeat what somebody has said, it establishes to them and makes them feel that you were listening. This is something that happens a lot, and I've done it a lot until I realized, you can learn it 20 years before I realized, is that when someone has an interesting story or something that happened to them, oh, my boyfriend was gaslighting me and this happened and that happened. Oh, yeah, that's nothing. My boyfriend, the way he gaslights me. You can't interrupt someone's story with your story about how much worse it was for you, just because you're relating to their story. Yeah, they jumped in the ocean and you also jumped in the ocean, but that doesn't mean you swoop in there and sabotage their story. It happens a lot. Please be mindful of this. It happens a lot in chilled out conversations. And then finally, lots of people start rolling their eyes going, everything happened to this person. How did that, how come she's experienced all of it? So don't do that. If you're angry, wait some more, wait a couple of days, simmer down, think about it, start forcing yourself to see the other person's point of view. When you're less flustered, then engage. If someone's giving you critical feedback, actually try and keep your feeling aside, even if their criticism is bakwas, even if they're talking nonsense, keep your feelings aside. Try and become an unfazed alpha human at this point of time. This is very difficult, but just be receptive. Do not attack, because this is your most vulnerable point. This is where you're being criticized for something. It's either your appearance or your work, and it's not easy to hear. But a person who manages to first start by faking it and then actually make it a part of your life, if you can take criticism well, you will be able to handle many environments, and it'll plummet you. It'll be one of the secret little tips to success, I think, because most people don't want to be around you because they'll feel they can say anything to you. Again, that will be a superpower. I would suggest talk to people from different walks of life. Do not keep your circle small. You can have very close friends, but make sure the circle is wide. you know everyone. I knew people on my Sanya set. I have dancers as friends, so I know how they think. I became friends with the theater people. I became friends with people behind the back end, you know, in my office. And now I have a 360-degree idea of how different people work, think, breathe, operate, right? So I would say open it up even to various economic groups, because tomorrow, if you're a writer or a filmmaker, you're going to need those stories and you're going to need an insight into it. I would say always try and leave your ego aside. I'm using ego in communication because I used to be the kind that my mother and sister were a bit reserved. So they were always like, they had sold me this concept of unattainable and, you should never look left or right. But I found that that was not the way. Maybe it worked when I was 15 to keep the boys at bay. My mother was successful at doing that at that point of time, that I was not looking left and right. But what it did is just gave me an image or a reputation of being a snob, which I was not. I was not doing the left or right thing because she told me to do it. And one, I was also a bit uncomfortable entering a party because people would look at me a certain way and I would just wanted to find my friends. And so I would just and go there. It was not necessarily snobbishness. Today, I feel first mover smile, first mover hi. I'll say hi to someone and they have no clue who I am. Sorry, I've forgotten who you are. I'm like, I'm Rozzlin, we met at the thing. And okay, cool. People are put at ease when you start with warmth. Why is it they didn't come and say hi to me? They saw me, but they looked away. Why is this narrative even happening? If you want to be a success and you want to be ahead of the game, you smile, you say hi, and be ready for a snub also. Reach that level of optimum comfort with yourself where it doesn't matter what the other person does, but you are busy rock and rolling, if that's even a term. Okay, apologize. Learn to do this properly. There is a way to do it. You've probably read on Instagram already that an apology is not an apology unless you actually validate the person's feelings, say you acknowledge how they feel, you respect it, you intend for it to never happen again, you establish that it was not your intention to hurt them. It doesn't come with a but or an excuse and I was in a, but you shouldn't have taken it the wrong way. That's not an apology. Learn to apologize. Again, it will be one of the strongest tools of your communication going forward. And the last one is never get crass. Even if you're hurt by a partner, by a breakup, by a boss, be dignified, maintain your stance, communicate your disappointment in a manner that is always befitting of what you want your image to be, because 10 years down the line, you will regret it when that's all they can remember. You screaming some or hurling some abuses. This is not the way to go forward. Refrain from going crass, even if someone is ripping your heart out. Even if someone is ripping your heart out. I said that twice for a reason. Because when you're your most vulnerable, you tend to want to lash out and you're feeling misunderstood, not heard, not seen, betrayed, let down, lost, fearful of the future. This is the time the beast inside you is screeching and trying to hold on to some parts of normalcy or lash out at someone who has caused this level of pain, and it comes out as crass. Refrain. Okay. Now comes the interactive part. Let's go. Anyone for the first setting? I'm giving you the scenario. I need two people and I need a quick 2-3 line banter between both of y'all, but you need to enact out what you would say in this scenario as both parties. So we're role playing. Can we have two volunteers first, and then I'll tell you what the scenario is, because otherwise you'll be thinking and then volunteering quickly, because I need to go through quite a few of these. This is the last part of the seminar. This is the part where you get to do all the talking. You can try and
Andrea volunteered.
Implement all the things I tried to shove down your throat in the 45 minutes that I spoke non-stop.
Andre Fernandez has volunteered.
Andre one. Can we have a girl maybe on the opposite side? Actually, it could be anyone else. Norma?
No. Yes, Norma.
Norma and Andre, okay. So one of you is basically taking care of your parents, okay, who are always falling sick, and you always go to the doctor and you're always there for them and their phone doesn't work and it's always you. The other is not pulling their weight. You need to speak up and tell them, not okay. This is easier actually at your age because you guys do this stuff. As you get older, these are things that people find hard to do. You'll be surprised. Brothers and sisters don't pick up the phone and they expect the sister to know that, or if she didn't offer her help. My point is pick up the phone and ask for the help. So clear communication, understand who you are, understand that you need the help, and then leave your ego aside and say, I need help. But how do you do it? Do you do it in an accusatory way or do you do it in a better way? Let's see how you guys rock and roll. Norma, you'll have to put your video on. We want to see you. Okay, Norma and Andre, go. Who's the brother? Who's the one who's doing everything for the parents? Norma. And Andre, you are not doing anything. So Norma, start.
Where is Andre? I can't see him only. Okay, now I see you. Hi, Andre.
Hi, Norma. How are you?
I'm good. So, what's up? What are you doing today? Are you free?
No, I'm attending today at 4 o'clock now. Rozzlin from Archdiocese, I'm attending her meeting. There's a workshop on communication.
Okay. No, because actually, I am finding it very difficult and I need some help and I need your help. Actually, I thought of you if you could help me. So, could you help me? Like, you could attend, it's online, any which way. So, you could come home and you can log in from my laptop and you can help me as well.
What's it about actually? I need to know.
I need to take care. I need to buy some groceries from out. So, and I need to take care of my parents as well. So, can you look after them and I can go out and get the groceries?
Let's see. I'm not sure.
Can you just be present in the house?
I'm not sure because I don't want to miss this. What time are you calling me?
Okay, guys.
Around 5.
I'm going to interrupt. It's very sweet, lovely conversation. It was. All our siblings are very good. So this was very sweet. Norma, honestly, that's literally how it's done. I wouldn't even give you any feedback because your tone only was so sweet and loving that, if I were him or any partner, I would feel did anybody feel anything like, I don't think that the sibling would have felt attacked because Norma did not attack. So Norma, I don't know whether you implemented things that I said or you actually talk like that, which is wonderful. But sometimes what happens is people are so conscious about asking for help because they're already feeling like, what will my brother think of me? I can't handle it. So I'll not only make this call. So all these preconceived notions make us not act on something so simple. Can you please show up? She gave him the solution also that you can be online and just be present. I just need to step out. And that is the most brilliant thing about this conversation is that the solution was handled. It was asked sweetly. And the person in question knew that this is easy for me to do. I can do this much. And I'm feeling needed and I can be of use to my sister who needs my help. This is what we need to start assuming about each other, that people want to be there, but tell them specific. If she had said, Andre, it's been building up for a while, yeah? I've been taking mom and dad everywhere. It's always me. Because I'm always taking them to the doctor. And please don't get me wrong, I can do it. I can handle it. But the fact is, you've never been once picked up the phone and asked me, am I okay? You know mom's been sick. You know mom's been going to the hospital. I don't think that even one call came from you. Why? Like, you're not their son. Suddenly, I'm doing everything. Like, what's happening? Attack. And he's like, 1 minute, what did I do? Like, I didn't even think about this. Like, if you needed help, you should have told me. She did the right thing. She asked for the help and that specific help. She didn't speak about this open-ended, overwhelming, over 3 months, 6 months. Suddenly the person like, what? Oh my God, it sounds like too much help. I don't know. I can't do it. So this was very good. Good. Anybody else for the next one? Can we have 2 more volunteers? Thanks, Andre and Norma. You're very good.
Could I try?
Who?
Chris,
yes, and one more person. What is happening to the rest of you? You're at a communication workshop and there's no volunteer. Shocking. Anybody with Chris? It's a more receptive role. Like, you just have to receive.
Nahum.
Nahum?
Yeah.
Nahum, can you put a video on? Okay.
Yeah,
Now,
sure.
yeah. One of you is the dad. One of you is the son. Okay. And let's assume Nahum or Chris wants to pursue a career in music. It's a dream. The father thinks it's not a lucrative career. It's just a hobby. And that's the conversation. Who's the father? Who's the son?
Naim, what you want to be?
It's your choice, man. Whatever you want.
Both of you, Nahum, come on, you're the son. Chris, you're
Yeah,
the father. Let's go. You don't have
Yeah.
time for so much of
Okay.
just role playing here, right? So now, Nahum, you want to be a musician. You have to break it to your father who does not believe music is a lucrative career. This is a very real time problem, guys. So how now you can't. When you look at Chris, please picture that it's actually your father, and the tone has to be that you're talking to your father. Okay, and similarly, Chris, when you're talking to him, role play properly. Let's go.
Hey, Dad. Thanks for giving me the time and sitting down with me. I just wanted to talk to you about, I'm in the 12th now. I'm going into senior college. And I was thinking maybe I would like to actually, it's my, I've always been passionate ever since I've been a kid. I've been playing the drums. I love music. And I think at this juncture in my career, I would like to pursue it professionally. What do you think about that?
Naim, it's a good idea, but I think you should not concentrate on music, because mainly your main goal is to pursue well in your 12th standard. So I think it is better you keep all this stuff aside and better concentrate on your studies. Once you finish your HSC board exams, then you can give it a thought.
But Dad, I mean, it doesn't matter. These marks, to me, they mean nothing. To me, all that I'm passionate about, when I wake up in the morning, when I go to sleep, and all I can think about is the music, the lyrics, the melodies. This is what I want to do. These marks, these exams. Yes, I mean, of course, my intention is to clear these papers. But post that, my only intention in life is to be the best musician that I know I can be. Do you think you can support me on that journey that I take?
See, to be pretty simple, yes, you can. I'm not telling you don't do music. Yes, for your stress buster, you can listen to music, play little drums and all. But at the same time, during boards, I say better concentrate on your studies. Music will be there throughout. Boards is just once in your lifetime. Once later on, you will regret if you don't do well.
Okay, let me interrupt you all, guys. Does anyone very well done? Huh? My God, even Chris, the role he was playing. You can do little of this now. Time pass, lovely. Okay, anybody has any observation from what either of them said? Either as an observation of what to do or what not to do. So you can tell me, hey, I loved that he said da 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 da, or you can say, I think that was a classic no-go when it comes to communication. Anything that you picked up on, anybody?
I think for both of them, what was really good is that it was a very pleasant conversation as compared to what you think might happen. Chris, when he played the dad, was not very yelling about it. He wasn't saying, you know what, shut up, you're not supposed to be doing this. I've paid for your education. This is not what you're supposed to be doing. He's very calm about it. And every time, Chris said no, Nahum interjected and said, but dad, and in a very calm tone. So I think that was like
But
great.
Jessica, so let me ask you this. You brought up a lovely point about the calmness.
Mm-hmm.
But now let me ask you, did you think they were both listening to each other?
Definitely not.
Who was not listening more than the other?
I think Nahum was definitely paying attention and was picking up on points that Chris said and then used it in his maybe argument against his dad, but maybe not. Chris was not really hearing where Nahum was coming.
When did he not hear? This is a communication breakdown. That's why I'm pointing it out. He may have been calm.
Yeah.
He didn't do the conventional. See, just because somebody is not saying, no, you cannot. This is a role play we've seen in movies that every father is going, no, you cannot. Music, throw out the drums. Doesn't always work like that. Maybe there's a Chris in every father. But was he listening? Who can tell me the point at which it was evident he wasn't listening?
Can I try?
Yes.
For me, I felt that it was when he said that you can play little of drums or whatever, and you can listen to music, because I felt that he wanted to pursue like a profession in music, and he just said you do it a little bit on the side and you listen to it.
That's
And it was
one.
not like a career
Yes,
goal sort of thing.
absolutely. That was one, because his son was clearly saying, I want to take this as a career. I want to pursue this. That was the one of the times he didn't listen. There was another time. Can anyone tell me what the other time was? It was a clear breakdown in communication. And trust me, this can become as frustrating to a child. You're hearing just one conversation. What if this conversation happened 20 times? The same conversation. And Chris, as the father, spoke like this each and every one of the 20 times. Are you telling me it would not be as frustrating? Do you feel heard? Is that a strong communication that's going on, interaction? No, it's not. Because I'm clearly not getting the answer that I wanted, is where Nahum says, yes, Dad, I intend to pass these papers. I fully intend to do that. But after that, I want to make it my career. To which Chris responds, you better do the boards. The boards are important. Unless I was mistaken, but it sounded like he already addressed that for you. He already said he's going to deal with the boards. He was already going to pass those papers and then pursue music. And he wants to know what you think about him pursuing music as a career. So like Zaneta rightly pointed out, he was not addressing the part about it being a career, just dismissing it in a very way. Yeah. But well played, by the way, Chris. But the second thing was, he didn't hear one of the two sentences. I already said I will pass these papers, after which I will then pursue this. So why you went back to say the same thing? Where was the need? That means that's a communication breakdown, right? So these are things that can happen, and you're going to have to watch out for. Either you'll be on the side of the parent or the child or whatever, and you're going to have to still navigate these kind of conversations without getting frustrated, and still do it in a way where you're still respectful, but you still need to get your point across. Okay. Anyone else for the next two? Jessica, Zaneta, you want to do the next two since you all had opinions on this one? But you'll have to put your video on. This one is a social aspect. Quickly, come on. We'll do two social
Sure.
and two work. And then
Okay,
we're
cool,
done.
let's do it.
Yeah. Zaneta's ready? And Jessica's ready. Okay, fab.
Yeah.
Now here, one of you is always paying when you all go out. The other one never takes out the wallet. Somehow the other hand is not going only in the purse. Okay. And it never comes out. And somehow it's starting to wedge a kind of a hole in the relationship. Otherwise, you guys get along like a house on fire. You have the same interests. You do things together. You enjoy. But somehow when you go to have butter chicken and naan, it's always one of you who's paying. It's a very, very difficult conversation. Money, you will find, comes up over and over again, even in your relationships. You are going, and it is a big fat bone of contention and disrespect. And how do you navigate this? Sometimes you're in groups where everyone's like, let's split the bill equally. But you had one potato and somebody else had 6 glasses of whiskey along with their big fat lobster. Why would you split that bill? How are you going to navigate this situation? So I'm giving you a simple scenario where you and Zaneta are. Who's the one who's not paying? Quickly.
Could be me.
Zaneta is not paying, and Jessica, you are addressing this very delicate, as delicate as it can get. So you need to, I don't know, handle it the way you want. Go for it. Tell her she's not been paying and it's not okay because it's just not okay. Yeah.
Okay, cool. Okay, so since we're out here and we're having dinner anyway, I thought I'd bring this up. So I've noticed this been happening a couple of times before, and I just wanted to bring it up because I feel like we're in a safe space. I can talk to you about this. I don't know if you've noticed, but we've never really split the bill. I've always been the one who's kind of always paid. And I'm totally okay. I don't mind spending the money. It's just that it's happening frequently. And is there a certain reason why this is happening? Like, have you noticed or not noticed it happening in the past? I just want to know how you feel about this.
Okay. I'm actually a little lost here right now because I'm not sure how I'm supposed to respond. I mean, not as my character, because I actually am.
Whoever you feel, just pretend that you are this person who has not paid. You're pretending right now, making believe. You're not the one who really does this. We are pretending. If you're also going to pick up on the nuances tomorrow. You might be in a situation where a friend doesn't pay and you're the one paying. Right now, you're just play acting for the sake of everyone to watch how these things can go. So you can, if you want right now, you can go into theatrical mode and be like, excuse me, what are you talking about? Whatever you want to do, you have fun with it. But you're doing it as a case study so that other people can take it down. It has nothing to do with the reals in it.
Okay, fine. All right. So actually, the reason I haven't been picking up on these bills and all is because, like lately for me, it's really been hard. I mean, the rent's been building up for me, and plus, I like my parents were kind of sick for a bit, so I'm just trying to cut down on certain costs, and like we hang out once a week or whatever, and I like to have a nice time, and I like to enjoy myself a little bit with your company and everything. So that's kind of been like why I have been like not paying, like doing it every week and whatever. So that's me.
Okay, I'm really glad we had this conversation because I thought it was a whole other situation. So I didn't know that this was a situation with your parents and with rent and everything. I get where you're coming from. So maybe next time we just go to a cheaper place and probably split a
Yeah.
vada pav or something the next time.
Yeah, I'm good with that. And I think like next
I'm
time we
glad we could
can
talk about it.
yeah, I mean, I think maybe we can start like you pay 1 week, I pay the next week, and we can continue it like that and like have a good time basically.
Yeah, that
Okay,
sounds
let's interrupt. Anybody, anything that you all picked up on from this con? Good job, girls. Thank you. I love safe space.
Rozzlin?
Clearly, like got her communicate. Okay, anybody?
Yeah, Rozzlin. So I just had something with Zenata, not her, but her character. I'm not sure if I got the name right. But what I understood from this, it was a very, very calm. It was actually, if I'm being pretty brutally honest about it, it was a bit too calm for me because usually when situations like this play out, it's a bit difficult to keep your calm because at the end of the day, not paying the bills is like almost accusing you to be like a thief and, avoiding the situation of paying the bills. So when she said that, my parents and like my family situation, I would have, at least me, I would have lashed out and said, then why are you hanging out? So this was a bit too like, I mean, it was very well played by both of them and I'm not talking about them, but their characters.
Yeah.
So this was a bit too calm for me, but I noticed that it was understanding. But when I have encountered situations like this, not with me, but with my friends, but it's first a lash out that happens, something really harsh being said. And then that other friend coming to me and saying that you don't know, but this is what's happening in my family. And then it would sort of like when everyone has calmed down, then it's, like a talk out situation where they speak to each other and they're like, oh, I'm so sorry this happened. I didn't know. So that's my opinion on it.
Yeah, so what you're essentially saying is the reality, but what we are trying to achieve is actually what Jessica and Zenata showed us. What they technically showed us was the ideal scenario. But you're absolutely right in saying that the minute she said, oh, my family, la 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 la, why are you only saying this now? Why did you come for 6 dinners? There is that sense of thought. Now, the classy thing that Jessica then came back with some, maturity of a 40-year-old and came back and said, okay, I didn't know all of this and and next time but she cleverly then said, the next time we're going for vada pav. I didn't know this, we're going for vada pav. So yeah, I'm not going to be in this situation again. I buy your point up until this point. I'm going to let whatever just happened go. This is taking the high road. Great. And the fact that she spoke up for herself, remember, these situations are very delicate. You are possibly hanging out with this friend because you love them. There have been situations where even the girl in question who doesn't have the money has said, no, I don't want to come. Forget it. No, let's not go there. They've done those subtle things where they've not point blank said, I don't have the money, guys. Not everyone has the... I was in that situation in college. I remember people saying, let's go to Marine Plaza. And I didn't have the guts to say, I don't have money, or let's go here and there. And I was like, I can't go because I don't have money. I would love to go. But you can't, not everyone does it at 17 and 18 years old. So they're both kind of right, where she probably went, oh, can we, I don't want to go. And then Jessica said, come here. And it was an understanding that Jessica's got the bill. And then when the time came, maybe Zenata it's all body language. It's what we talked about earlier, looked here and there, hoping Jessica picks the bill. Jessica then being quick, quick on the draw, pays the bill. But then after 3 times, it's occurred to Jessica, ki kya hai ye? Maybe a friend spoken here. All these are human dynamics. Then because the day Jessica felt wronged or taken advantage of, or that evil thought entered her mind that I'm being used, she had to, at that moment, which is what I spoke about earlier, knowing yourself, speak up for herself, which is what she then did, and did it in a very dignified way. Zinata then went on to say X, Y, and Z excuses, and then of course went on to say, listen, the next time let's just try and do this, blah, blah, blah. And the reason I didn't bring it up is because it was damn awkward and I didn't want to make it look like a soppy victim story. And that's why I didn't tell you. So, and sometimes people are just point blank taking advantage of you and telling you lies about some sob story, which is not the case. So you have to use your discretion, but that went very well. And we learned a few things from that. You all will be in the situation going forward. Do we have time for like maybe one more work one? I feel like we
want to say something on like what Jessica did.
Yeah.
Like, since, given that the situation is kind of like a confrontation of sorts,
yes,
it doesn't have to always be about like food or money. It can be about work in a group or whatever.
Absolutely.
Sometimes you find that what I noticed is that when you're confronting someone, you don't want to be aggressive, so you give them an out. So like Jessica in this situation gave her the excuse. She said, do you have family problems? Do you have some sort of thing? And then conveniently the person, now in this situation, maybe it's genuine, but in another situation, someone might lie or someone might. So my approach would be to be more tactful and let them come up with a legitimate excuse rather than me providing them a convenient out.
Okay, that's a great observation. We often
Roslyn,
do that.
I've also noticed that a lot of
Joanna,
sorry.
yes. Go for it.
Or sometimes this is just a situation of two people actually having a conversation about this. But sometimes I've also gone into a situation where people go in a group and I don't drink alcohol. So they order like wine and vodka and everything. And then they expect you to split the bill. So I decided like whenever I go out with my friends, I always make sure I say, what are we doing with the bill? Even before we start to go and think what we're going to do, I always ask, what are we going to do? How are we splitting the bill? And then everyone says like, we pay for our alcohol and then, each one pays their own bill, or each one pays for the alcohol and then we split up with the food. So I think it makes things much more clearer from the beginning because I know my pocket.
Brilliant.
And I think
absolutely
and
brilliant.
I think one
this
and
is
I
what
think
it means to know yourself and your boundaries and your limitations. How can you try to be jumping to someone? We move in different economic groups. I am moving in groups where everybody is carrying a 50, 60, 2 lakh branded bag. I do not own these bags. So there cannot be this pressure for us to be, we have to know ourselves. That's why I said, when I say know yourself, you'll be like, what aspect of this has got to do with communication? And now, as Joanna has rightly pointed out, that is the connect that I'm going after. If you know yourself, then even before it gets uncomfortable, you have anticipated the problem and asked your friends, listen, and in that very friend tone, what's going to happen now? You will read 16 podcasts and then I have to pay for it. You got mad. I'm paying, and everybody's like, no, yeah, you might just come. And that time everybody wants you to come. So there's this, and then no one holds it against you because you've tackled it in this timing. Are you seeing how all the aspects that I spoke about are coming together in one situation? This obviously invoked a lot of opinions because you've probably been there and you're going to be there again. There will be bosses who come and say, give me 20 bucks. It's happened to me. 20 bucks, 20 bucks, 20 bucks. Bolke, my salary is 9,000 rupees. You're taking 20, 20, 20. It adds up. What are you doing? So you need to be able to speak up. How do you speak up when it's a boss? You're thinking, my God, how can I not say, how can I say anything? I got to let it go. And we always open our mouths 4 times too late. We need to say it then and say it in a tone. So what I think someone pointed out, Jessica, no, it was calm. That's actually how it should be. If you attack it at the right time, with the right frame of mind, that everyone's not out to get you and your only job is to protect yourself without the assumption everyone is a villain. And my point is, even if they are a villain, you still maintain your level of decorum and class, right? Even if the person's being gaslighty or using or matlabi or whatever, your job is still to protect yourself. What is the end agenda? Who is it who said, I would have snapped? That is the human reaction. That is what you would have done. But why didn't you come out? Why did you come out the 6 times to the expensive place? Why didn't you just say that you didn't have the money? How bitchy is this really? My point is, if your only agenda is to protect your pocket and to ensure that you're not going to get used, this is the agenda. You have every right to protect your money and not to get used. Is it your job to slander and make that person feel small? Therefore, the balancing of communication with you and who you are and how you want to conduct yourself. Do we have time for one more? Do you want to? I'll just give you quick examples of this, or you want to do one more, guys? Anyone wants to do one, like it really wants to be part of one, then we'll do one more. Otherwise, I'll just run you through the examples I had come up with.
Yes, I want to do. I'm Cicely.
Cicely, hi. Anybody else wants to go with Cicely? We'll do.
Sure, I don't mind.
Who? Leandra? Okay. Leandra and Cicely, let's give you all a work one. I actually had 3 personal, 3 social, 3 work, but I did 2 and 2, and now I'm going to do 1 work one or another if someone else wants to do it. Okay. This is your colleague has, either one of these you can choose. Your colleague has taken credit for your ideas in a meeting. This has actually happened. And it's like blasphemy in my world. I'm like, anything but that. Credit being taken from a creative person is like really bad. So never do that. But if let's assume your colleague has taken credit for your ideas and you want to let them know that that was not cool, what just happened in the board meeting. It's a colleague, so it's not necessarily a close friendship. How are you going to address it? Who's the colleague who took the ideas? Who's the colleague who's...
I'll be the colleague that takes the ideas.
Okay, fine. And
Cicely. Cicely.
Cicely, you are upset that she took credit for your ideas. Go.
Yes.
Put your video on though. We'd love to see you.
Yeah.
Hi.
Hi.
Yeah. I didn't get her name. Sorry.
Leandra.
Leandra. Yeah. The other day, we both went to our boss office and we presented the project, and he was very happy. Yeah. And the reaction you said in front of boss, I did my best at this project. It should be a success. The way you said it, like I felt very ignored, and I am the one who took the maximum effort and trouble to do that. At least you could have said we did it together. We did our best. The way you said, I'm very hurt. And this is not the first time, Leandra. That time also, last month, something happened, and there also you were telling all our colleagues, one, I get something and I do my best and this and that. And the other time you told Cicely, we have to do this and you better do that and better do this. And, I'm really hurt and angry at you. I don't know why you do this.
I'm sorry, but I don't quite remember doing this, because the thing is, I know we both worked on the project, but I spoke on my behalf, and I kind of expected you to at least speak up for yourself and say that, okay, even I did this, so I spoke from my behalf. But I kind of understand what you're saying somewhat, but I felt that I wasn't in the wrong, because when the boss confronted me and asked me, I said, yeah, even I worked on this project, which I did. But if you felt ignored, you should have just told me then.
Yeah, I understand, but I also feel like in this case you are not genuine enough. God also has given you lots of talents and resources. So if you take trouble and you develop yours, then you feel happy that you used your resources rather than borrowing from somebody else and glorifying yourself. In this case, I'm still angry, and I know that you must have thought that way, but I'm really I cannot still come to terms with that.
Okay, let me stop you guys there. Unless Leandra, you have a response that you wanted to give her.
No, it's okay, Rozzlin, you can go ahead.
No, I want to know, does anyone have anything that they need to say about this conversation, both like specifically about either of what they've said? Anybody?
Yeah, actually, I love the way it went, because it usually happens that the one who we feel are wrong, they actually put the ball in our side and say, no, we thought did our part properly, you didn't speak up, and then we don't have words to say, as Cicely didn't have any words to say. She was just like trying about speaking about honesty, but she just couldn't have more words to speak. So these situations actually come our way.
Yeah. What would you have said though, Andre, if you were stumped by someone who said you should have spoken up for yourself? Why didn't you? Why are you expecting me to say we and all this? What would you have said?
I don't have any answer. That's why I
Any,
asked.
because are you feeling offended by it? Would you have got irritated if someone said that to you?
Yeah, actually.
Then this is where you need to start thinking to yourself, if I'm irritated and I do want to say something about it, either I walk away completely unaffected. These are the people who kiss the bosses. You know what? I can't help it. This is the way they play the game. It's okay. But if it's bothering you, you have to be prepared for the next time that situation presents itself. That's what I would recommend. You need to know what to say. Like one time the thing happens to you and you're stumped and you think about it and you go, hey, I didn't like the way that went. I didn't like the way that I walked away from that situation. This is a situation that actually happened to me, which is why it's even on the webinar. I knew what I wanted to do about it and I did just that. And I'm very good friends with the person who stole my ideas today because I had a constructive, honest conversation and they respect me immensely and they will never try that again because they are now scared. They're like me, but they're scared. And that's how it should be. I'm okay. Please be scared. I'd rather you are scared than you think that you can walk all over me. Now, Cicely has spoken up, but does anyone else have any other observation? You should think about what your answer would be had someone said that. Anybody else?
I feel that Cecily is very, very hurt. She's very hurt with the situation, but I also know that Cecily was the creation of had created the idea. So I know that Cecily should have easily said to Leandra and said, okay, if you think that, I should have stood up for the boss, then, well, I did not have the opportunity this time, but the next time you will not be standing up. I will be making the presentation myself because I am confident enough that I created this and I will do my best. Because Cicely is talented, but she's very hurt right now. So she should have curbed her emotions and just told Leandra that I'm better off and I will stand up next time for my project.
Joanna,
I think,
let me ask you this. So I love your feedback. My only question at this point in time is, and which is what I was hoping someone would say. So we got Cicely's hurt. So what I'm getting from this is Cicely played the role of the hurt, character very well. So she's a very good actress. But my question is, very simply put, did she communicate what was the crux of what was bothering her early enough in the conversation for this to be a constructive outcome, the kind of outcome that she wanted? You're not going to meet people who are going to give you the right answers all the time, but for you to walk away from a conversation just having spoken up, there will be times you will not get closure and you will not get a reaction from people. They will still shut you down and they will still be defensive and they will still, that's not what this workshop is about. This is about having to say what you need to say in a manner that you don't feel regret about later. And you feel good that I spoke up. I said what I had to say. Now, whether they received it well or not is secondary. Did she, but to effectively communicate clearly what was the problem? Did she manage?
No, I don't think so. But she just showed herself that she was very wounded, but she was not able to say what exactly she was wanting it in the future. She was just, brooding about she being the victim all the time.
Anyone has any other answers of what they would do different if you were in this environment? Would you handle yourself like Cicely?
No.
Anybody else? Yes, Joanna. No. Anybody else? What is the ideal way of handling the situation? Has anyone got an ideal?
Can I try?
Yes, please.
So since Cicely was really angry at that moment, so for the first few minutes, I think she should have not said anything and just calmed herself down. Like you said earlier, when you're really angry, take a few minutes and calm yourself down, simmer yourself down. Try to see this problem from another person's perspective, and only if you think, then only if it matches to what you are as a person, only then she should have spoken back. And what Cicely could have added to, so that one thing that I liked about it, about how Cicely spoke, is that she stood her ground. She was upset and she expressed herself. Nice. And I think sometimes people often aren't able to express themselves. But she could have controlled her emotions a little and said that the next time, yes, definitely, I'm not going to make the mistake again of letting you take the credit. I will also speak up when my ideas are put, or I will work separately.
Fabulous.
That's what I said.
Crystal, amazing. I love that feedback. That is the ideal scenario. It's pretty much what I did. I was livid at the time, livid. Okay, that this thing had happened to me. I have no idea whether that was directed at the workshop or was just random chat sound. No, so what Crystal said was right. Ideally, in a workspace, while we're human and all of this, and this is a mistake I've made 1,000 times, I have wept and all at work, and it's in retrospect not cool, not okay. Ideally, yes, we're women, we should be allowed, and yes, once or twice, it's okay to really have a meltdown and be human because something is really crumbling in our lives. But ideally, it's like Rihanna says, what do you do on those days when it doesn't go your way and you're not feeling good about yourself and you're really feeling low? She's like, I pretend, darling, because what's the alternative? I'm sitting at home and crying. Now, I'm not saying fake it, but at work, you want to keep your cool, your professionalism, and your wits about you at all times. The winner walks away calm. Your alphaness needs to step in. So you take your moment away, like Crystal rightly said, take the time to calm down. The minute you're exposing your vulnerability, I would say expose your vulnerability to the people that really matter, your significant other, your parents. These are the places where vulnerability is courage. But maybe not in a workplace, maybe in a place where you know that this vulnerability will be used against you. That's why time and place, mentality of the receiver. If you start tapping into all these things at the right time and you get the perfect combination, you will find that your communication at that point is optimum. And you will feel very proud of the way in which you said 3 sentences. Whatever the person's name is, let's assume it's Michelle. Michelle, I just wanted to point out something that happened in the meeting today. I'm going to give you the benefit of the doubt because this happened the first time, but I'm letting you know so that it doesn't happen again. We both worked on this presentation. The entire idea, the crux, the entire basis of the idea was mine. We agree about that, right? I mean, I don't need to hear you answer that question because I already know, but you went in there and the tone and everything you said, and you presented it as though you came up with it and used the word I, when it is we. And I'd really appreciate it. I'm going to just pretend that didn't happen. I'd really appreciate it the next time that you didn't do that, because if you did do it again, because credit is everything to me, and I consider us friends, and I consider us, having a great working equation and great colleagues, and I don't want that equation to get ruined. Throw in a couple of positive things, and then say, I will step up and say stuff, and it might get embarrassing, and I don't want that to be the case, which is why I'm coming to you and not to the boss directly. Yeah, so I made myself clear. Is that okay? And we're all good now. Yeah, just don't worry about it. I just wanted to let you know. So you never, the tone of your voice, the way you look at the person, everything needs to put them on the back foot and not you. If your voice is quivering, you are weak and exposed, and there will be many who will take advantage of that. So those were just the examples. The other ones that I had, which we're not going to deal with. Well done. Thank you, Cicely. And who was the other one?
Me, Leandra.
Leandra, very well done. Leandra was very blasé and very, that could rile up a different kind of emotion in people and make the person more frustrated. So the dynamic was quite nice. So the others I had basically were, and these are just for you to think about, is you had a fun, you're in a relationship, your boyfriend or girlfriend, you had a fun plan to go for the weekend getaway. It was your girlfriend's birthday. You're going away with friends. You've been busy for months on end. This was the first vacation or weekend, whatever you were getting away after a really long time. Girlfriend or boyfriend is really looking forward to it. And there's an emergency and you can't go. You have to break the news to this person. Girlfriend is giving you grief about it. What would you say in that scenario to her to make her feel seen, that her emotions are validated, that you get where her disappointment's coming from? You also explain the urgency of the situation and what the promise of the solution would be. So that was one in the personal space that I thought of that you could do. Getting rejected is something else I would have loved to talk about, because when you reject someone, you have to keep in mind what that person is going to go through. So the way to reject, that is an art. You have to let this person down easy. Even if you're firing someone tomorrow, you're a boss, you're going to be faced with this issue. There's an art. Do the research, take the time out, learn the art of letting somebody go without, because all these things leave impressions. Remember, you're impacting people's lives as they move on to their life. You're letting someone down who's come out and asked you out to a date and you can't go. You're gonna go, no, I don't do dinners with losers, or no thanks. How are you rejecting this person? And for guys also, I think a lot, I'm saying guys because it's a lot of the time it's the guy that has to put themselves out there, but I mean today's women are doing it as well. Take the rejection well also. Why is there this assumption that the apple of my eye or the person of the object of my affection has to return this? If we come in with the assumption of I'm so secure in myself that I know how I feel about you, but I'm completely respectful of the fact that you may not feel the same way about me, and I'm good. I just wanted to let you know, I put myself out there. Hey, it's okay if you don't feel the same way. It's a liberating feeling to be that secure with yourself, to be in that position where you can go after what you want and be okay with disappointment or rejection. Disappointment if it's not a feeling driven letdown, and rejection if it is someone actually saying no to you. If you master the art of these two things, then you will be able to communicate that rejection and communicate your acceptance of the rejection even better. So that's why I said all the nuances are stuff that are psychological driven, feeling driven, vulnerability driven. They're all aspects that will help you communicate better. There was another one that I said, someone is constantly criticizing something about you, gaslighting your interpretation of things. Your feelings are hurt. How do you address it? Think about that as well, because that happens a lot. How do you deal with someone gaslighting you? Every time you do express yourself, that person is negating that you ever felt this. But why are you even feeling it? But you don't even have any right to feel it. But that never even happened. Are you sure you're thinking straight? Oh my God, you're psychotic. Oh, that's absolutely crazy interpretation. Whoa, where's this coming from? How do you deal with someone who's completely absolute defense mechanism, walls or weird defense things that they have to say that make no sense and are completely disjointed to what you're saying? They're just random blocks. How do you interact with someone like that? Do you interact with someone like that, or do you know well enough to disengage when the time comes? And the other work one was making cold calls. Making cold calls is actually calling people and asking for work. The reason I included this in the seminar is because it is a very important part of your career life. It goes beyond communication. Learning how to make the cold call is one thing. The psychology of making cold calls to ask for work, to call up a friend and say, hey, didn't you say you knew an aunt who worked in that particular place where where I think I would love an internship and where she could make it happen for me? You think I could get in touch with your aunt who I just want to speak to her for 2 minutes? Let the person say no access to aunt. That is the worst case scenario. Your job is to pick up the phone and say, I want access to the aunt. Your job is to do this relentlessly until you get what you want. Your job is to hear 20,000 no's and be okay and zen, because you are showing up for yourself every single day and not just making the call, but doing it with class. Hey, is this a good time? You always want to start a conversation like that. Is this a good time, or am I disturbing you? This is your starting point, is I'm showing you respect for your time. I have not assumed that you are sitting idle when I need something done. I've called you up, but I will call you back at your convenience when it is a good time for you to talk. Is this a good time? No, I'm actually in a meeting. Okay, can you call me back? No, call me after 4. Okay, I'm going to buzz you at 4. I'll text you first. Okay, bam, phone goes down. 4 o'clock promptly. Hey, is this still a good time? Chase. Who are you chasing for? You. Who are you showing up for? You. Who are you speaking with that tone of voice for? You. I'm listening to Will Smith's book as we speak. I'm audio. It's an audio book. He just talks about this a lot. He's like, I was relentless in my pursuit of what it is that I wanted. And I was relentless even after I reached the pinnacles of success. I was just relentless in keeping that train going. Like even after I had hit after hit, I was like, what's next? And he's like, when people were sleeping, I was meeting new people and I was networking and I was opening my mind to some new artist and looking at a new book that I could acquire to make a movie and so on and so forth. And the whole idea behind that thought process is I will show up for myself. I'm not saying become a fanatic. I believe in work-life balance. I believe in balance. I believe in friendships. I believe in time out for hobby. I believe in rest. I believe in sleep. I believe in baking. Know yourself is what I'm saying. If there is a goal, it's your job to go after it. It cannot be, I don't know, I can't make the call. I'm not a caller. I'm not a initiator. Oh, it's so weird. What do you think of me? This is where thoda thick skin has to come on and you go after it. So that's pretty much where I'm at. I'm sure I have a lot more to say about communication, but I think just to kind of put it in one nutshell is know yourself, respect what it is that you want, and then find the best way, which means if you have to research, if you have to speak up for yourself, if you have to set boundaries, if you have to set whatever it is that you need to do, find the best way to do it and then do it well. That's all I got to say. I hope you guys enjoyed the seminar. I hope you guys had something that you take out of it. You heard something new. Does anyone have any feedback, any questions? I'm just going to answer the doorbell. I have no idea who's at my door. But if you have any questions, just feel free to ask them. I'm happy to answer anything. Sorry, anyone with any questions? Nobody has any questions? Shocking. Did you guys have a good time? Did I make sense?
May I ask a question?
Yes, please. Sagrika.
Yeah. I thoroughly enjoyed every bit of it.
So glad.
I just have a question. See, when you during one of these case studies, said that put yourself in someone else's shoes. Try and understand where the person is coming from, right? What happens is when people know that you are doing that is your nature. You would always try and understand the person where he or she is coming from. That is considered to be a weakness. If people try and take advantage of that. So where would you draw the line to protect yourself? And how do you decide that this much is enough?
Sagrika, amazing question. I have grappled with this till literally a few months ago. Some people are naturally empaths, right? They are empathetic, which means they naturally feel the pain of the other person. So it's already in their DNA. So my first step or my first answer to you would be first embrace that aspect about yourself. It is who you are. So something as simple as this is actually who I am. The reason you are built like that is because you actually have the ability to understand. Having said that, I've also said in the webinar, in the workshop, that you need to know yourself. So I always ask myself very simple questions. This particular behavior from this person, so I also told you, look at the mentality of the person when you are about to give them gyan about a new concept, like a grandmother, a concept about open marriage, for example, or whatever, some crazy, you cannot be explaining this crazy concept, which even we have not understood probably to somebody else, aise bhi hote hai. She'll be in shock. Why? So I'm saying that is the kind of thing that don't get into conversations and arguments with the person who's not even in the same zone as you.
Yeah.
But when it comes to understanding other people, the fine line comes with till it is doable for you, where it is not affecting your mental health. I find that I'm able to be empathetic and compassionate and look the other way and take the high road 25, 30, 50 times, as long as I am fueled at that point of time. So those are the times that I'm getting fuel from everywhere else. Everyone's loving me. Everyone's understanding me. My life is going well. My capacity for compassion at this point of time and empathy is great. The minute I am depleted or this person is repeatedly, you will see a pattern, right? You be an empath as long as it makes sense to you, and your inner voice will always tell you when it's time to stop. When you see the pattern is coming at you where you are being disrespected, you are being used, you are being, your you're feeling used and you're feeling not good about it, and now it's affecting your mental health and you're starting to get resentful, this is the time to check out. This is the time your body, your instincts, your everything will be screaming, bahut ho gaya, abhi band karo. And that is the time to speak up and say, hey, I had a friend who would keep borrowing clothes from me, keep borrowing. I love this girl to death. She's still my closest friend. That's why I believe in communication, just to tell you this as vehemently and emphatically as I can. I believe in saying 16 sentences. I believe in addressing the issue, because when I address the issue, I have saved the friendship. I had the same problem with one of my friends regarding the money, constantly not paying. Finally, I addressed the issue and I started with, you know, I love you now. I'm going to say something that is not very, because I was very young at the time. I was, you know, I love you. You know, I love this friendship. You know, I want the friendship to go forward now. You know, I don't want to lose you as a friend. All these disclaimers came. At the time, this was my way of communicating. And then I said, but you never pay, yeah. And then I started crying and I was like, I don't even have money and I don't come from a wealthy family and I'm constantly paying, and it hurts me that you have so much money and you're coming from such a rich family, and all this. My point, they said I was staying true to myself. I'm not advising this is the way to do it. But moral of the story, this person is one of my closest friends. I did not attack them and I did not sever the friendship. So that was me not knowing better into how the money situation, life only treats you, only teaches you when the situations come your way, right? You don't know about that situation till it doesn't happen. The girl who kept borrowing my clothes was making 75,000 times more money than me, but I just had certain kind of taste and I love clothes and I would spend my every last dime on clothes. I might have not had money for anything else, but I had all the clothes in my closet, and every time she had something to do, she would come borrow my clothes, and she's a lovely girl. Now, am I going to start the resentment to the point where I stop hating the person? Can't she get it? Look at the money she's making and she's taking my clothes. Look at the way I'm feeling used. Your mind plays tricks on you. Luckily, even at the tender age of 23 and 24, I was able to put it in perspective. And I said to myself, is this girl all bad? No. Do you like her? Yes. I always ask myself simple questions like this. Is she wonderful? Yeah. She's like a trip to be around, right? Like, yeah. But this one thing irritates you. Address only the one thing. So again, darling, you know, something is making me feel very, every time you call me in the last 6 months, every time you've called me, it's only to ask me for a dress. And then sometimes you're wearing the dresses I've never even worn myself. It's irritating me. Sorry, but I love you, but it's irritating. Boom, she never did it again. And she's my friend. And it's been 20 years since this happened. This is what I mean by solve the problem and move on. Have the communication. Give me a second. Anyone else has a question? I hope I answered that question, Sagarika.
Yes, thank you. Thank you so much.
There, I had to tell my Amazon guy to go away and come back. Anybody, were you happy, suitably happy with that answer? Did it make sense, Sagarika?
Yes, it did. It indeed did. I just needed.
Listen to your inner voice.
Yes.
When it's feeling good and it's feeling right, then do it. That's probably the universe, God, and yourself telling you this is what I need to do. This is what this person needs. The minute it starts feeling even slightly resentful, even if the person didn't mean harm, you are your body telling you, now show up for yourself. Now you protect yourself. Now is the time for self-preservation. Both ho gaya. And it's okay.
It is this much that I can do, and then stop
And
there.
it's okay to do this even with family.
Yes.
Sometimes family has the habit of asking and and you're like, it's my family, I need to be there. Where do you draw the line? You draw the line when you think it's too much. Do not break your back. There are no rules about this. There's only self-preservation. There's a reason they say put the oxygen mask on yourself first. It's so weird. I've said this for 20 years and I'm listening to Will Smith's audiobook called Will, and he uses the same analogy. There's a reason they say put the oxygen mask on yourself and then on your kids. If you're busy putting it on your child and you become behosh and you faint, then both die. That's why you have to fuel yourself as a mother, as a friend, as a whatever. If you're not getting fueled, how, with what love are you going to go out into the world or communicate anything?
Absolutely.
Anyone else has any questions?
Thank you.
Yes, I do have a question.
Yeah, Chriselle.
This is Chriselle. Yeah, so I wanted to ask you if suppose one of my friends is telling me about some incident that happened, and in that whole incident, there is this one point that I feel that she is wrong. And as a friend, because I'm her close friend, I feel that I need to point that out and tell her. So my question is, one is, do I have the rights to tell her? Because I'm just her friend. I don't know if I'll be crossing the line. And if I can tell her, how do I communicate that to her?
Okay, lovely question again, happens a lot. The first thing you want to do is apply that one thing I told you about. Is you will always know, if you know the person well enough, whether what that receiver's mentality is and what frame of mind they are in. I've had friends who have been perfect when their life is going well. They have been so amazingly mature and receptive to everything that came out of my mouth. And when they were going through life's darkest times, and sometimes they did not communicate to me that they were going through such a dark, depressive time, so I was clueless, the same sentence, maybe even half a sentence, threw them into a spiral tizzy and went on to not be friends with me also anymore. So yes, it is a slippery slope into when to give advice and when not to give advice. We tend to want to, it's always very easy to solve someone else's problem. So when someone's sharing what someone in this group had said, most people want to vent. They already vent. They already know what they should do, shouldn't do. Second, they will usually ask you for your advice when they want it. What do you think? Or look for your approval. So like, if they want you to be appalled with the person who's upset with them, then you have to nod along and say, yeah, really annoying. And if you think that that is what your close friend needs as a healing, then you nod along and say, yes, very annoying, because that is the support they need at that point of time. You have to read the room and figure out what is required from you at this point of time. A lot of times we women, when we are complaining or venting to our partners, they come in with a solution, but it's so simple. Tell them you're not doing the show. If both have come at the same time, tell them you're not doing the show. And I'm like, this is not the answer I wanted. I just wanted to vent. I wanted to establish that I got 2 shows on the same day. I wanted to talk about how difficult it's all going to be. I already know in my mind's eye how I'm going to handle it. I didn't need him to come in and solve it for me. So you need to be sure whether the person wants your advice. And if you really feel compelled to say that you did something wrong, say, you just interrupt them and, hey, so I have a different perspective on that. I mean, are you willing to hear it? Like, do you want to hear what my thoughts are on this? When you ask a pointed question to somebody, do you want to hear what my perspective is on this? You give them the opportunity to take that forward or not. They'll say, no, just let me finish what I'm saying. Or they'll say, yeah, sure. Say no, because it's kind of a different thought process from what you're saying. And then my little tip here is, when you want to criticize somebody or tell them something that they've done wrong, people don't take this very well. You always want to come at them with, so all of those things, tone, warmth, eye contact, all of that. But you want to start with a conducive environment. Conducive environment means, I got you. I understand the 16 other points. So you want to start by saying that, hey, so I agree with like 90% of the things that you're saying. And I'm like, if I were you, I wouldn't even have handled it as well as you're handling it. It's actually kind of commendable, because I was picturing myself in that situation in which you are, and dude, you're handling it damn well, I must say. But I just wanted to give you this one little perspective, because I was in a similar situation, recently, and I was the one that did the thing which you're pissed off about. And I was just coming from this place of complete ignorance, man. Like, I didn't even mean it in a bad way. So I just wanted to let you know that in case there's a semblance of a chance that you can still be friends with this girl, maybe she was not out to get you. I'm not saying that she didn't do it badly, but maybe she was not out to get you. Maybe she didn't mean it in a bad way, or whatever it is that your perspective was. But you want to soft pedal it, is what I'm saying, because people don't often they want their friend to be on their side. So with that intent in mind, you then approach and you start with 3 positives, and then bam, here's where you went wrong. That's how I would do it. Anybody else? Hope that helped, Chriselle.
Yes, thank you so much.
Anybody? No more questions? Okay, so I just try and internalize the things that I've said. Remember how important communication is. Remember, words spoken cannot be taken back. This is something, unfortunately, I have to live with a lot of regrets, because if I had attended a seminar like this and maybe implemented some of the things, because I had anger management issues and everything used to fly out of my mouth real time. And I had no concept of fear. So which is a terrible combination. I'm angry and I don't care about consequences. So blah, 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 blah. And then regret because I actually would like to think I have a kind heart. And I used to be like, this person did not deserve half of what just happened. Or if I was too busy and hectic, then my busyness and hectic justified how I'm behaving and the tone of which I brushed someone off. These are all nuances into how you want to go. And the reason I'm sharing it with you is because I don't want you to think that I've figured it all out and I'm operating here at this. I do get a lot of things right. My friends actually make fun of me as to why do you write paragraphs for, text to us and you're always writing Ram Kahani. The point is that they don't realize the power in which of information which I'm giving them. There is no greater crack. There is no greater thing that causes cracks where insecurity is concerned. The biggest cause of insecurity is ambiguity. Every human being wants to know where they stand. And your new generation has reached a point where you're like, tell me if you're not into me. Tell me if this is a friends with benefits situation. Tell me if it's a casual fling. My generation was like, if it's a casual fling, bye. Okay, at least most of them. Your generation is in that. But if you go to see what is the crux of both those things, they are both saying, tell me where I stand. Don't tell me it's a relationship if it's not. So that is it. If you do not want insecurity to be there of any kind, then you need to communicate your thoughts, not just your thoughts, your intent. I can't come to your party, but I would have loved to. I'm gutted that I can't be there. Communicate the intent of where you're at with that person. And then it's okay if your friends say, oh, this, that, and the other, but they don't realize they're walking around with the power of the security that you've handled their friendship with. My friends don't realize it, but they are so secure because I'm let them know how important they are to me at any given point of time. And they know exactly where I stand, what my mood is, why I said no, when I can't come, why I'm not coming, X, Y, and Z. I give them a heads up on the next 1 month. Hey, this is going to be going on. So if you don't hear from me, but I love you, just checking in and, sorry. But so they never feel like, oh, she was weird for 2 months. It never happens with me. It just never happens. I can have point blank conversations with my friends and tell them they were absolutely wrong. Like Chriselle asked me right now, I tell my friends left, right, and center when I think they're wrong. Because I take the criticism as well as when they give it to me. And I also do it in a manner where they are so clear I love them anyway. Like you're too smart for this. You're just too amazing for you to be getting this one thing wrong. You're crazy. Like I want you to be operating an optimum level. That's the only reason I'm telling you this. I think it stinks that you even did that. Like I literally tell them this, and they'll keep calling me. So I'm clearly not doing something wrong. And then yet, if they're going through a dark place and they're very vulnerable, I need to have that insight that this is not the time to attack and this is not the time to tell them anything because they are not going to even take hello from me. So it's timing, it's nuances, it's human dynamics, it's feelings, it's a lot of things. We will also fall into a trap sometimes when we're going through a dark phase. Why is nobody calling me? They didn't call me, they didn't check on me. It's nobody's responsibility to do this. Good communication is knowing who you are. I've said this throughout the seminar, knowing who you are, showing up for yourself. If you need help, pick up the phone and ask for it. There is no such thing as they didn't check up on me. I'm sorry. Operate as an alpha. Why didn't they didn't call? No. When I need my friends, I call them. I've never uttered the words, where were you? Why haven't you called in the last 20 years? Ever. Because I'm too busy living. I'm too busy with my life. I'm too busy executing things, creating things, having fun to put myself in such a pathetic position where I'm asking my friends, why didn't you call me? I'm busy living. When you call me, hey, how are you doing? Let's meet. What the hell? Come on. Bam. We are living. That's how it should be. And if I need them, then my friend said to me the other day only, somebody said to him, have you checked up on her? She's not going through a good time, blah, blah, blah. And he's like, I know her well enough to know that if she needs me, she will, that holler will come. She will call me. And he's spot on. Not once have I thought, why isn't he called me? So this is where I'm at. Clear with who you are, clear with the intent, clear with the thought process, clear with the boundaries, brave enough to set the boundaries, brave enough to express those boundaries, clear enough to express it in a manner that is, getting in a point across. And even if you don't get the point across, walking away feeling good about the fact that you showed up for yourself. That's the crux of the seminar. I think I'll end there. Otherwise, I can keep going. Thank you guys for attending. And Take Charge is just a fabulous program. I've already mentored 3 wonderful, amazing mentees who I have learned from. That's why I know a couple of the catchphrases and all of that. And it's just like really inspiring, fun conversations, things that make me think. I'll end up giving advice and then I think, am I practicing this? So it helps you kind of get better yourself, and it's an all-rounded development. That's what I love most about it, is that sometimes there are little situations that I never even dreamt up would come up, and my mentee will come to me with that, and then I have to ask myself, what is the best way? I have to be very mindful of the kind of advice I give. I can't be telling her, oh, burn him alive and say this and say that. I can't do that. I have to be mindful of who she is and what kind of person she is and what feels right to her, and navigate her towards the path that makes her walk away from that situation feeling good about herself, having dealt with it, feeling stronger, feeling more confident. So it's fulfilling for me, and hopefully there's a lot of takeout for the mentees. I think it's a fun program. There's buddy groups, there's webinars like this. So any one of you who's considering joining the mentorship program, please do. It's a no-brainer as far as I'm concerned.
Rozzlin, before thank you so much. I mean, you've done such an amazing job on this webinar as well, and this is the second time I'm attending one of your webinars, and even the first time you never failed to amaze me, and I'm so glad that they brought you on board, because this is what the mentees need. This is what you are like. You put it out there, and to all the mentees who are attending this webinar, this is Rozzlin, and there are like billions of her. Well, not like her because she's unique, but there are various other mentors who will help you and hold your hand and guide you through it. Webinars which you can attend, which give you food for thought to actually think about even the smallest of things that you do in your life, like in terms of social media communication, and this communication program, like how do you communicate. And it's very important. And thank you so much, Rozzlin, once again. You've done an amazing job, and really thank you for all the different things you brought across, the different scenarios which we may encounter in life, but sometimes we fail to actually stop and think. And thank you so much for that.
My pleasure. Anyone who has questions unanswered, you all can reach out to me separately. Either get my number from anyone in charge, from Mary Ann and Cheryl and Jessica, and I will be happy to engage with you separately as well. Yeah, or just on my social media pages or the Take Charge pages.
Yeah, they can write on that. There's somebody called Rosh who would likes to ask.
Yes, good evening. Good evening. I just wanted to know how will we know about the new other seminars, and is there a way of contacting you or your contact number or something?
For my contact page, you can follow my page, but first I think that it's more important that you follow the Take Charge page. It's on, there's an Instagram page. All of the details actually Jessica and Marianne will be putting up on the chat. So you just have to follow the pages. My page is Roz_truly. Just start engaging with me there, or get my number and text me, and I will be happy to engage with you. Then if you follow the Take Charge mentorship program, the website, all of which is being shared right now in the chat, you will be able to follow them, and all the information will be given to you. I mean, they'll keep updating when things are happening. Once you've joined the mentorship program, you'll keep getting told, because there'll be a group, you'll be assigned a mentor. So you'll find everything out real time. Once you're part of the program, you'll find everything out real time, because they're constantly in touch with you. It's one big family. So
thank you so much. Lovely session. Great.
So glad you enjoyed it. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Roz. I don't know what to say. Thank you so much for everything that you've done.
I enjoyed myself. Thanks, guys. Bye.
Guys, anybody has any questions on Take Charge, please, you can call, or you can write, message on the Take Charge website. Okay. If you have any questions now, we are ready to answer. Andre, Leandra, Kaylin, and I think who else? I'm sorry we couldn't take you live, but I don't think there was a spot or a space.
No problem. Actually, the video was enough. So
I think the video also did, and I think we got all of you there.
yes,
Right?
yes, we captured most of them, and they spoke really well. So
Very
thanks
much.
a lot, guys, for
Bye-bye.
volunteering and helping us out.
Bye,
Thank
guys.
you.
Bye. Thank you.
Bye, guys.
Bye. Thank you for the opportunity.
Have a great Sunday evening.